Hey guys, what's up? Inorganic Pixel. Just doing a quick video with the spy loadout. Before we get into that, though, I just wanted to show this really funny start to this round with Soldier here. Crit Rocket, nice. All right, yeah, we're gonna switch over to the spy in just a minute here, but yeah, I wanted to kind of just make this video as a quick review of the year 2025 and everything. Pretty good year overall. There was a lot of bizarre circumstances that happened, even not within gaming, but just as a whole. And then at the same time, it definitely kind of felt like we are at a bit of a impasse of a year of some sorts, a bit of a fork on the road culturally, economically speaking, politically speaking, end of the world speaking, typical stuff. What's new? I guess I wanted to kind of just break down the year a little bit, talk a little bit about gaming stuff, obviously, talk a little bit about, what my expectations might be for next year, what I'm excited about. I kind of want to also share some of my favorite moments. But yeah, so sit back, relax. This is a filler episode. I guess just to kind of get right to the point, I think the big theme of this year for sure was around AI. We saw that creep into like everything from like TV shows, movies, music, even video games. And I feel like this year was a big Turing test in terms of like how people respond to AI, how that can actually work in the marketplace of ideas or the marketplace of just the economy itself. And it seems that the verdict, at least from my perspective, seems that no one's willing to pay for it is the big problem with AI. No one's willing to fork over money for an asset, for something like in a movie or something like a video game and whatnot. People are not really excited about when it's in their products. It doesn't really evoke positive emotions more often than not. And I obviously people have paid for AI when it comes to like a movie or a video game, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the prevalent theme moving forward. It seems that AI, at least in the past year, is one of those things that just gets a bit shoved down our throats within the economy. And it's not the exciting big revolution. Not everyone wants to buy and pay $500 for ChatGPT. People are more than content with just using the free version, which, is also not that great. When it comes to like making, purchases in my life, I tend to really try to avoid the AI stuff. I guess over the past 2 or 3 years, the few that stick out in my mind was seeing the movie Late Night with the Devil. That was the one instance where I felt a little, miffed and cheated about the use of AI in that movie. And then the other time, I guess, was when I played Call of Duty, the new Black Ops 7. I don't necessarily know if AI was used in things like Battlefield 6 or if any of the other games I've played. If it was hidden pretty well, but we're getting a lot better about, seeing when it's there and not. And it's just not a great feeling when you get it in your salad. It's not something you want in your pasta and your pizza and spaghetti. It's just you don't want to hear, oh boy, this thing has something that people basically like they didn't feel bothered or fucked enough to work on it, so they were they just go ahead, they just said, hey, you're a robot, do our work for us. So it's a little disheartening to see it, and I think the consumer over time will be a lot more vocal about its presence in a negative manner. I also think that at some point too, in terms of like memes and how we use AI to communicate with one another, I think that's also going to dissipate and go away over time as well. Because the moment you charge, boomers or morons money to make those silly, stupid little AI videos, the moment you like raise the price on that, I feel like a lot of subscriptions would drop off. I do think that the technology might have some value in the near future in some other circumstance. It's a bit remain to be seen kind of situation. I personally hypothesize that a lot of that, technology, the actual hardware, the RAM, the SSDs, the graphics cards that are used to power the engine that is AI, I feel like that will ultimately be moved towards cryptocurrency, but, we'll see. A little bit of a Nostradamus prediction there. The second thing I want to kind of just touch on this past year thematically, which honestly I think this is worse than AI. I think this second thing is probably the absolute worst thing that you could do to your life, and that's getting into gambling. The gambling has got to slow down, and I'm not really necessarily talking about like buying a key on Team Fortress 2 or any sane rational person knows that gambling is never a net positive in most people's lives, in a majority of people's lives, in a majority of even people who quote unquote make a living off of it. It's definitely not a positive in their world. And I really hope that I don't, in my audience, that there's not anyone who's like addicted to sports betting or whatever Klarna, whatever the hell that prediction market crap is. It's really just, in my opinion, the fact that gambling is being pushed so heavily now in the populace at the moment. To me, it signifies more of the fact that a lot of the powers that be, the upper echelon, the CEOs of the world, the big mega corporations don't have a lot else left up their sleeve at this point. That to me spells that all right, we're basically the next push forward technologically speaking is just stealing money from you guys, scamming you. So don't fall for the scam is what I'm saying. Do not give in to that silly little world. And gambling, even if frankly, even like $20 worth of gambling is just not a good idea. That I want that to be a pervasive aspect of even my own channel. When I spend $20 on the keys or the scrap metal, typically that's my investment towards my channel and everything. But I would never incentivize or encourage people to go ahead and do gambling and everything. And I guess the other aspect that kind of segues into that is what makes gambling so much worse right now is how heavily it's advertised, how heavily it's pushed on us. The amount of advertising for that, and even like AI, and just the amount of increase in ads that we're seeing every day, has got to slow down. I guess for the new year, maybe a goal of mine is to just pick up more of the hobbies that I'm passionate about, get more into the gym, and do things where I don't have to see ads. The less ads you're seeing in your life, the less time you're spending not wasting your money on betting or gambling or getting fat and lazy is time well spent. Even gaming, to a degree, if done properly, is time well spent. It's a great way to bond with people. It's a great way to communicate. It's a great way to learn sportsmanship, puzzle yourself, challenge yourself, experience a creative standpoint and whatnot. And it seems that the AAA companies are not interested in that aspect of the video games anymore. A lot of it is more geared towards just getting you to spend more and more money on useless crap and garbage like microtransactions, skins, and cosmetics. But, I think a lot of gamers are owning up to that, though. I think a lot of gamers are like wising up on that aspect and really supporting a lot of the smaller indie scene or even the smaller studios that produce a lot of interesting stuff. I think the era of Call of Duty is potentially winding down to an end, and potentially the era of all these freemium multiplayer games. We might see a renaissance of single player experiences, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. That remains to be seen, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to just continue to do what I'm doing right now on YouTube as well. I know I mentioned this before, but the goal is to get to 500 subs by the end of the year, and frankly, I'm like 70 away. So if you are watching this video, if you made it this far, please consider dropping a subscribe. I guess to wrap up the things, with this year, I guess I'll go through my top, list, the winners of my little silly categories I've made up here. These are really kind of to highlight some of the interesting stuff that, I guess I've done and played through this year. So, personally, my game of the year, I'm going to go ahead and just say it right now, it's Nubby's Number Factory. That was one of the few games I played this year that actually came out this year. And I don't play every single game that comes out this year, obviously. I don't get paid to do this. But Nubby's Number Factory was a lot of fun. I loved its music, its controls, the amount of free DLC that's come out since then. I wanted to give this to Straftat, if I'm being honest with you. That's a very big honorable mention, Straftat. That was a lot of fun to sit through, and that's one of the few games I really recommend people just picking up, even for free. The grand champion here for the biggest scam of the year, in my opinion, this is the award where basically, what gaming company scammed their audience the most. And I was going to say this was Call of Duty here, if I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm going to give the award to the new Metroid game. Wow, you have to spend money for the music that comes on during the desert scene? Basically, they already shipped the game, and a core feature, clearly a feature that was designed for the overall experience of the game, is an additional add-on they can make with an amiibo. I can't believe amiibo still exists, by the way, but that's that's my take. That's my last category of the year. Metroid fans, I'm real sorry. Samus deserves so much better. But where else to end off here? What am I looking forward to next year here? I'm looking forward to the Steam box first and foremost. A big rumor or a big hype was around the idea that the new Half-Life game was on the arrival or on the near horizon. As of December 7th, when I'm recording this, that has not been the case yet. But the Steam box that's coming out looks interesting. That could be the launch title with Half-Life 3, and having a Steam box would be kind of nice. I would say if you're the person who has an Xbox One or an Xbox 360 and you want to enter the current era, the current landscape of gaming, I'm hoping that the Steam box will be the answer to that. Pricing is still yet to be revealed, so only time will truly tell. But And with that being said, also, you know, as far as things that might concern this channel and everything, as far as like, you know, content or stuff that's coming out that would interest maybe my viewers, Team Fortress Classified kind of got a release date. That's going to happen in the end of January. So I will probably make a video on that. That was the one Team Fortress SDK that I was really looking forward to. Still have yet to try Gold Rush, but let me know in the comments if you want to see Gold Rush maybe before I do Team Fortress Classified. By the way, Team Fortress Classified is the older version was referred to as Team Fortress Classic, but they had to change that, I guess, because of some Valve copyright, mambo jumbo, whatever. And let's see, what else? Yeah, I'm going to be streaming a little bit more this coming year. I do kind of plan and want to do more of these like scripted videos, or, you know, this video, for example, is just more off the cuff, but I do enjoy those scripted videos, but those might kind of take a little bit more of a backseat in terms of what I'm trying to do with this channel and everything. And I think the streaming seems to be the most easy thing to do for me personally. It's the thing that I think I'm most skilled at on this channel, and on top of that, it provides a lot of like great content, I think, too. I part of me is trying to figure out a way to take what I do on my stream and then convert that into, you know, my own thing, but that remains to be seen, I guess. All right, I feel at this point I'm just rambling a bit. Basically, to wrap things up for, you know, the end of the year a little bit. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, commenting, liking, disliking. I appreciate it. I know I'm not a big time YouTuber and everything, and you might be finding this video like way later in the future, but you know, the idea here is that I hope that I at least make 1 or 2 videos on my channel that you like. I have a whole year's worth of content, definitely worth checking out at least a few of them. And I want to make sure that they're entertaining, and I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying them as well. So, you know, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around, and hopefully this gets a lot better, or I get canceled. That would be also kind of funny, right? All right, see ya, bye.